The BTR-60, an armored 8x8 wheeled vehicle, was developed in 1960 to replace the 6x6 wheeled BTR-152 series Armored Personnel Carrier, APC, from 1950. It marked a significant advancement over its predecessor, offering numerous revolutionary enhancements and providing the Soviet military with a highly capable off-road and amphibious vehicle. Serving as the pioneer in the renowned BTR-designated vehicle lineage, it paved the way for subsequent models like the BTR-70, BTR-80, and BTR-90 families, whose impact transcended the Soviet arsenal. Introduced in December 1959, the BTR-60 commenced serial production in 1960, with local manufacturing continuing until 1976, resulting in approximately 25,000 units produced. Additionally, Romania produced the type under license as the TAB-71, contributing another 1,872 vehicles to the fleet. The design process for the BTR-60 began in 1955, largely driven by the tactical shortcomings identified in the post-World War II BTR-152 and BTR-40 series. This imperative gained momentum through a significant restructuring of Soviet Army formations. Concurrently, the development of the BTR-60 coincided with the creation of the more advanced tracked armored BMP-1 series, both of which were manufactured and deployed in substantial numbers worldwide. V.A. Dedkov is credited with the design of the BTR-60, with the BTR designation derived from the term Brontransporter, appropriately translating to armored transport. The BTR-60, while conventional by modern standards, represented a significant departure from the typical armored personnel carriers, APCs, of its time. Its hull was mounted on an independently suspended chassis, featuring 8 large road wheels arranged in pairs on each side, with 2 axles capable of steering. Constructed of welded steel, the hull boasted a well-shaped design with a sloped glassy plate, side facings, and a squared-off roof. Armament was concentrated in a turret emplacement located ahead of the center and behind the driver's cabin, a feature primarily found in later production models. Weighing approximately 11.4 tons, short, the standard crew comprised 3 personnel, the driver, vehicle commander, and dedicated gunner, with additional space available in the central compartment for passengers. The fighting compartment provided protection for infantry against small arms fire and artillery splinters, with access facilitated through hinged hatches located on the sides and roof of the vehicle. The driver and commander each had their own hatch on the front left and right of the hull. Armor protection varied from 5 mm, hull floor, to 10 mm, turret front. The primary armament consisted of a 14.5 mm KPVT heavy machine gun with 500 rounds, complemented by a coaxial 7.62 mm PKT machine gun with 3,000 rounds of ammunition. The BTR-60 was powered by 2 GAZ-40P series 6-cylinder gasoline engines, each delivering 90 horsepower, for a combined total of 180, at 3,400 RPM. These engines were situated at the rear of the hull, which precluded the use of a large powered entry/exit door commonly seen in more modern APCs. This configuration provided the vehicle with an operational range of up to 310 miles and a maximum road speed of 50 miles per hour. Designed with full amphibious capabilities in mind, a characteristic shared by many other Soviet vehicles intended for combat in Europe, the BTR-60 could achieve a speed of 6 miles per hour in water, propelled by a rear-mounted jet covered by 2 hinged door plates. Following successful state trials in 1959, the BTR-60 was officially adopted for service by the Red Army, based on the Object 1015B prototype, which became the initial BTR-60P variant in active duty. These vehicles accommodated seating for 16 personnel and were equipped with a primary armament of 1 by 7.62 mm PKT, SGMB, or PKB machine gun, with optional positions for 2 by 7.62 mm machine guns along the sides of the hull. Originally designed with an open-air hull offering no crew protection, the P model quickly necessitated modification, resulting in the introduction of the fully enclosed BTR-60PA variant in 1963, which was slightly heavier but retained similar qualities. Subsequent models, such as the BTR-60PA, included provisions for the 12.7 mm DSHK 1938/46 heavy machine gun with 500 rounds of ammunition. This evolution led to the production of the refined BTR-60PA-1, featuring a slight increase in weight. Further enhancements were made with the introduction of the BTR-60PAI, which featured a machine gun arm turret mounting the 14.5 kpvt heavy machine gun in 1965, with 500 rounds of ammunition, supplemented by one 7.62mm PKT machine gun in a coaxial mounting. The PAI model reduced the internal seating configuration to 14 passengers from the original 16. The ultimate iteration of the BTR-60 was the BTR-60PB, another slightly improved version featuring refined gunnery sights and seating for 14 passengers. The BTR-60 saw its first combat deployment during the 1968 Czechoslovakian invasion by Soviet Army forces, marking the beginning of a prolonged Soviet military presence in the country until the dissolution of the Soviet Empire in 1991. Throughout its service life, the vehicle fulfilled roles as an armored personnel carrier, infantry fighting vehicle, IFV, and scout vehicle. However, its tenure was eclipsed with the arrival of the BTR-70 in 1972, followed by the similar BTR-80 series in 1986. Despite these advancements, thousands of BTR-60 series vehicles remained in service well into the 1990s. The widespread production of the BTR-60 ensured its active participation in the Soviet-Afghan War from 1979 to 1989, albeit with mixed results in the dry, hot, and mountainous terrain of Afghanistan, a departure from its intended European battlefield environment. The conflict exposed vulnerabilities, particularly to rocket-propelled grenades, RPGs, which posed significant threats due to the vehicle's relatively light armor. Insurgents became increasingly adept at employing ambush tactics, contributing to the Soviet Army's eventual withdrawal in a stunning defeat. The operational use of the BTR-60 extended far beyond Soviet service, as the vehicle was supplied to numerous Soviet allied states and nations. This extensive distribution included countries across Africa, the Middle East, Asia, Southeast Asia, North America, Mexico, and South America. Furthermore, many vehicles remained in service within former Soviet territories, as evidenced by their deployment in Belarus, Czechoslovakia, East Germany, Lithuania, Poland, Romania, and Ukraine, among others. These BTR-60s continued to play significant roles in various military operations and security functions within these regions. Soviet factories churned out a multitude of production models and sub-variants of the BTR-60 throughout its service life, with further modernization efforts continuing under the newly established Russian Federation following the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991. Localized variants emerged in Bulgaria, including the BTR-60 PAU, PB, and PBMD marks, with the latter representing a modernized version. Cuba developed four distinct marks of its own, each featuring varying armament configurations. Finland, heavily influenced by the Soviet Union following World War II, produced four major marks of the BTR-60, including modernized iterations. The East German Army operated various versions and designated local marks under the collective Schützenpanzerwagen heading. In Mexico, the Marines utilized a turretless variant designated as the APC-70. Romania designated its BTR-60 variants under the TAB-71 designation, which also included sub-variants. Polish variants were based on the BTR-60 PB, while China undertook an illegal reverse engineering endeavor to produce their version of the BTR-60 PB. The Israeli Defense Forces, IDF, captured numerous BTR-60 armored vehicles during their campaigns against neighboring Egypt and Syria. Many of these captured vehicles were subsequently converted to fulfill other battlefield roles. Former operators of the BTR-60 included Czechoslovakia, Germany, with grandfathered versions phased out after reunification, Iraq, Lebanon, Yemen, Yugoslavia, and Zaire, now known as the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The widespread deployment of the BTR-60 series ensured its involvement in a diverse array of conflicts. Its participation began with the 1967 Six-Day War and continued through significant events such as the 1971 Indo-Pak War, the 1973 Yom Kippur War, and the 1980s Iran-Iraq War. The BTR-60 also played roles in the 1991 Persian Gulf War, the First and Second Chechen Wars, and more contemporary conflicts, including the American-led invasions of Afghanistan and Iraq. American forces encountered the BTR-60 decades earlier during the 1983 U.S. invasion of Grenada. Additionally, the vehicle has seen action in recent conflicts such as the Libyan Civil War and the ongoing Syrian Civil War, which began in 2011. Its extensive service history reflects its adaptability and endurance in various theaters of conflict. Indeed, the BTR-60 series has left a significant mark on military history, with over 40 countries having utilized or currently using these vehicles at various points in time. This widespread adoption underscores the design's status as a true success story of the Cold War era. Its versatility, reliability, and adaptability have made it a staple in numerous armed forces around the world, cementing its legacy as an iconic armored vehicle of its time.